Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Powerhook Pride. Coming up right now, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Enemy the Set, ran by Tempest Moon. Maybe you want to introduce yourself in the room?
Hello, friends and fellow gamers. I'm Tempest. Some of you know me as Steve. Welcome to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 1989 arcade game, not to be confused with the NES game released the same year. However, unlike what most people might think, this isn't the first of the TMNT games that Konami would release. That honor does indeed go to the rather infamously hard as nails NES game, but one that is still a certified classic along with this one. Of course, this is the first of many beat 'em ups within the Turtle series. It certainly wouldn't be Konami's last. And let's just say it's a really cool speed game in my book, and you'll see why. Today I'll be joined by my good friend RotorStorm331, who is also an any percent runner. Rotor, if you could introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm RotorStorm331. How is everyone doing today on this great day?
I'm feeling pretty good myself and ready to kick some Foot Clan. And I'd say it's always a good day to be enjoying some pizza and wearing some green. But yeah, not much to be said about this game. So let's just get this thing going, shall we?
Sure thing.
All right. So I'm gonna load in some virtual tokens into the machine, like so. And you will be seeing me play as Donatello because his special attack has the best reach and is just the most useful within the game. And yeah, not really much else different between the turtles. Although shout out to Raphael's special attack being a little bit different.
Yes.
And we'll start things off in timer ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cowabunga!
Cowabunga indeed.
Hang on, April. All right, so anything you know about a beat 'em up game, you're usually going to assume involves beating up enemies, and yep, that's indeed the case. The general gist of TMNT 1989 is that we want to take out as much Foot Clan members as we possibly can because the camera will continue to scroll that way. However, taking a few deaths here and there is actually perfectly viable for the speedrun because this game has a ranking system. And Rotor, if you'd like to explain that a little bit.
Yeah, from what I've learned and heard, the ranking system goes up for every 2 minutes that the gameplay continues. So if you don't take a death after 2 minutes, the amount of enemies you fight increases. So basically, by taking deliberate deaths, we lower down the amount of enemies we would normally fight if we lasted a lot longer. So
Yeah,
basically, right now, Tempest is getting ready to fight Rocksteady, the first bosses of the game. We'll be rematching him and Bebop later on.
And here we go. So I'm going to do a quick setup for a little quick kill, and hopefully he will behave. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, even if you do it right, it can still go awry if you're not careful.
Ooh, unfortunate. Okay, hang on.
Yeah, I've seen that happen to me before.
All right, not the worst thing, but not the best either. That's okay. We're
Yeah, the
still
other method's
recovering.
usually the dive kick, then special, but sometimes the special might not get out fast. Also, enemies and bosses in this game have very high reactive retaliations.
And he is misbehaving big time today, but that's okay.
Oh,
We
yeah.
still got him. All right.
So coming up is Scene 2. It's the longest part of the arcade. It's actually divided into 3 different areas. We have to fight like 3 different bosses. We get to fight Bebop coming up. We have Axter Stockman in the sewers. And then, of course, rematch with both Rocksteady and Bebop in the parking lot.
Tonight I dine on turtle soup. That's the famous line, folks. You heard it here. And surprisingly, it became even more famous in Turtles in Time. But yep, no, this is where it originated.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're gonna come up on a nice little speed skip found by Sewer Bushido, where she managed to discover a nifty little camera movement or manipulation that will allow us to cut off some otherwise mandatory combat section. But it's going to be coming up in just a...
Yeah. You can definitely lose life falling into the sewer holes.
That was a funny little accident right there. Oh, thank
Yeah,
goodness, I
ooh.
almost accidentally hit the skateboard lady.
Yeah, believe it or not, you do get a point for hitting her, but
That
what you
is
going
so
to do?
weird. Okay,
Oh man,
come
the
on.
foot soldiers have been like ganging up on you.
Yeah, that's not usually what happens. So we're just
Yeah,
gonna
well,
try and fix that up a little.
Yeah,
There we
particularly
go.
you want to have all of them gone by the time you do the Josie skip. Now, Tempest has to be very careful here because it is possible to spawn Bebop a little bit earlier than normal, and when that happens, he might get trapped off bounds, and you could basically get your speedrun pretty much canceled right then and there, having to do it all over.
It's because when you have him in the wrong section of the screen, it's just going to be hard to hit him. And these bosses, like Rock City demonstrated, are very reactive. So it's no doubt that while this trick is cool and does make the fight a bit easier to manage if you know which combos to do, mess it up a little bit and you might as well reset. There we go. All right, we're good. And now we go down a hole that does not exist.
Yeah, I could never get it right for the life of me, unfortunately. Every time I do the Josie skip, I usually hold down right, and most of the time I do not get to that position where most people will do. It's technically the optimal position for most world record runs in general.
Yeah, and world record runs can go as fast as like 13 minutes. So yeah, this is a pretty quick game overall, and like there are 5 scenes in total. Now, by scenes, we mean whenever there's a new title card for a level, kind of like how the first one went like in the blink of an eye. And whenever those happen, you also get a full HP recovery. Not to be confused with how this one has 3 sections like Rotor mentioned. So, yeah, we got Mousers here. These are enemies that surprisingly didn't have a whole lot of airtime in the original cartoon show from the 80s, and yet they became a major staple as a video game enemy, so much so that they basically became memorable for it. And yeah, they're a minor nuisance. What they mainly do is they stun you if they clamp down on you. But at 1 HP, it's not the worst thing because the moment they do clamp down on you, you actually die instantly. So they are unironically, they are a faster means of losing a life for the sake of speed.
Indeed.
So we're coming up to
regardless of the
fight.
media, most of the Mousers don't usually make mobile appearances, like Tempest just said. So anyway, here comes Baxter Stockman.
Ooh, oh, that's unfortunate.
Ooh, that's not good.
So I was trying to attempt what's called... Well, this is actually... this is surprisingly good anyway.
Yeah, indeed.
That's funny. That was a very good recovery. That's never happened before, in fact. I love the idea that I could still get the magic pixel trick, yet it wasn't as intended. And yet that's perfectly fine by me. I'll take it.
Yeah, there's also another thing of minor note about fighting enemies, and particularly the foot soldiers. It's the fact that you can't just mash your attack at them all the time. You have to wait for their stun animation to end, then you can start attacking them again. I mean, you could probably do that with Rocksteady a few times before he starts retaliating, but most of the time, most of the enemies in this game just don't let you attack multiple times like you would do in Final Fight or other beat-em-ups.
One major blowback to the death animation in this game is that if you do get knocked back, you actually have to wait for the game to register it. Oh, what, are you kidding me? Oh, that is the worst.
Oh, he's gone, though.
Thankfully, but now
it's ruined the quick kill setup now.
Yeah, that's just rough. Alright, well, that's fine. You at least get to see what they look like when you don't do the quick kill, which I guess is perfectly fine for anybody that grew up with this game. I mean, yeah, all I was trying to do was position myself so that I would try to double hit them with the special attack, and if done right, they wouldn't even get a chance to retaliate. And it's the coolest thing ever, but it is not easy to pull off.
Indeed, so... I've failed more times on that trick as opposed to succeeding. I know Alrock can hit that pretty instantly. Now, believe it or not, if you do keep the explosive barrel intact and hit them and get them to the left side, that does like quite a bit of damage to them, but you don't really see that in world record runs or any speed runs in general.
Shout out to the
Scene 3 is the highway of the foot.
Oh yeah. Running highway.
Taking over it.
And there's going to be traffic, as you can believe it, with most road stages. Quick shout out, though, to the April Kiss scene. If you're playing with multiple players, the turtle with the highest score will be the one that receives the kiss. It's it's a small little detail that I shout out to in case anybody didn't know. So we got the pole arm soldiers are never the easiest to deal with, because like with Donatello's special attack, their reach is just as viable. It makes them a pretty notable threat, and yet if they decide to throw it at me, they've effectively disarmed themselves, so it's not the worst scenario whenever they do that. So now we're just going to deal with some more enemies. Roadkill Rodneys, by the way, these guys are tough, and they also have low hitboxes. The dive kicks are effective ways to dispatch them, and
yeah, destroy them in 2 hits.
Yep. And special attacks can destroy them in 2 hits as well, but dive kicks are usually better suited for their angle.
Yeah, the special attack doesn't have a huge range on the Rodneys. It is possible to despawn Rodneys if you can get them to the edge of one of the screens and knock them for another attack right off the gate. Normally, they'll get out of that most of the time. Speaking about the spear soldiers, they and the gun soldiers are actually the worst kinds to deal with.
Yeah, I'd agree for sure.
They got pretty high priority.
Alright. Just a little bit further. Road hazards or environmental hazards are capable of friendly fire. You saw it earlier in Stage 1. You saw it here. And I'll also attempt a little something funny at the end of this section with these tires, but no guarantees. It's not always easy to pull off. Let's just see what happens. Well, at least I kind of got to show it off. Just, I can also bounce the tire back, so.
Alright, so now we're coming up to the highway state part of the level. And believe it or not, this first part, you could just ignore those helicopters and position yourself at the top left corner. But that trick does not work in the Japanese version. Which is very shocking, believe it or not.
Yeah, there are a few differences between the American and Japanese version, so it's interesting to look into those. But for now, I think this will be a great time for some donations or announcements if you have any. Before you do, though, I will say I am listening for the 3rd music loop and up to a certain point, and then by that point, it'll be back into action. So go right ahead, KK.
Okay, thank you so much. So I wanted to remind you guys, not only do we have an incentive coming up the Jazzpon, but we also have some donation polls where you can, or bid wars, I should say, where you can choose a whole bunch of things. We have some things coming up later, like the Callisto Protocol voice language, as well as character skin. We have a character bid war for Sonic Mania, the name that we're using, and bands, kinds of things. So if you guys are donating in Steam, make sure you look at the incentives as well as the bid wars.
Thank you so much, Counter Kitty. And, oh, wait, that was a bit trigger happy of me. Whoops. That's okay. Just wait it out a little bit. That's fine. A death is not too bad there. All right, we have hit the loop. So now all that's left is to take these folks out, and we are on our way to Stage 4. But first...
Indeed.
Oh, no, somebody let Mikey drive. Who let Mikey drive? Come on.
Might have been Raph or Leo.
They would. All right, here we go. So, Stage 4, Splinter has now been kidnapped by the Mousers. We gotta go save him. And not really much to this stage. It is short in length, but in terms of difficulty, things can get a bit tough here. The most notable instances being we've got some laser beams like there. I can just stand up top the platform, unless I fall off like that, and then start to get poked, zapped, and all sorts of unpleasant things. But by going up to the top of the stage, it does guarantee that we will manipulate the foot soldiers up there as well. So, yeah, just another instance of what we call the magic pixel at its finest. And now we will move on to the setup for the bot swarm. So once I get into this room, we will have another drill capsule, not unlike what Rocksteady came up with. And I'm going to try and hit as many drones as I possibly can, because if I let a bunch of them fly away, it could get messy. So here we go. A little serious time. That's not too bad. 4 is pretty good to get, because then I can just get the other 3 there. There's 7 in total. Yeah, those enemies, when you probably fought them for the first time, you would know how dangerous they can be. Let's bait the Rodneys into the explosive can. Okay, not quite. That's okay. That's not too bad. We'll just get the pizza here. And now we're coming up to the fun police. This is going to be
Granitor.
yeah, the dastardly Granitor from Dimension X. Rotor, I'll leave this one to you.
Yeah, starting with Granitor, the next 3 bosses are all going to take 1 point of damage, and needless to say, Granitor says, "Hello, I'm pretty much more worse than Rocksteady and Bebop. Enjoy your nightmare, pretty much." But anyway,
Yeah.
Granitor focuses mostly on chasing after your character most of the time. We usually use the vertical axis to attack him for the most part because attacking him in front of him is kind of a bad idea. He usually gets more priority with those attacks, not to mention he has the flamethrowers. Now, positioning your turtle in a specific spot can allow you to avoid getting hit by the fire, but it is definitely not worth it most of the time because, like I said before, you might get smacked or get burned.
And especially getting burned is the worst because it has a damage animation which puts you in a stun. So that was not too bad though. We actually got him pretty good. Yeah. You love to see it. You love to see it. Also, I don't understand why they made Granitor blue, but I'm pretty sure that's not how he's supposed to be in the show. Thank you, my turtles.
Yeah, I think that was the episode that Granitor only made his only appearance. I know Trag probably made one more, but that was probably it for the Stone Soldiers.
Wow, actually never knew that.
That's about as far as my memory goes.
I believe it. Yeah, this is the 5th and final scene, and it is also the most straightforward, which is a shame because it also has the coolest aesthetic, and it makes me wonder why they didn't go all out, but this was kind of a first for them, so I can understand why they played it just a bit safe. Now, if you've played a TMNT game, you probably remember the whole infamous freeze ray section, and those are that right there. Now, unfortunately, a roadkill Rodney did not follow us, so I couldn't show off the funny thing where if you have an enemy following you to the elevator, they just start airwalking and they go back to their home planet. Their people need them. And for the roadkill Rodneys to do that, it's the best thing ever, I swear. All right. We got a few more enemies to deal with. We are coming into the final boss gauntlet. And so once I take care of these guys, it'll be up to General Trag, which won't be that far off of a fight from Granitor. He's not as reactive as Granitor, though, and also may or may not have 1 HP less than Granitor for some reason. But yeah, he's got a grenade launcher instead of a flamethrower, so he's a
little bit more forgiving than Granitor in terms of horizontal strikes. He doesn't really move fast when he moves forward, but if you go vertical, he does go way faster. Up or down, he will go faster. Now, that's a first for me. I didn't think that missile could be destroyed with a dive kick.
Yeah, that's a first for me too, buddy.
I guess we now learned something new today.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Trag is actually a lot more easier. I don't know if it only applies to the Cowabunga collection, but I have noticed that anytime I try to attack Trag or Granitor or Krang with Donatello, sometimes his hit won't get confirmed on the bosses. I guess it's with certain attack animations, or it could be just for the version for the Cowabunga collection, because when I speedrun this game, I usually use the Cowabunga collection.
Had to get a quick little shell shock in for y'all, just for the heck of it. And
nicely done. 1 down, 2 to go.
So coming up is Krang. Now, this guy is the equivalent to Shao Kahn. If he gets a slam on you, he will start to taunt just like that. But it does give him a bit of opportunity to get hit, and yet he won't really give you all that much time. He's nearly as aggressive as Granitor, I would say, but luckily the battlefield is a little more wide open, so kiting him out isn't as tough of a task.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing with Trag and Granitor. You do have to be very careful when striking with Donatello because you won't always get your hits in. But most of the time, he's pretty easy to more deal with than the Rock Soldiers. But technically, with the other turtles, from experimenting with them, I find out that using the vertical up and down, doing chicken runs, as I call it, or the access elevator, is technically one way those other turtles can definitely fight Krang out on more even playing field most of the time. As long as he doesn't hit you while you hit him, that is. But technically with Donatello, all you have to do is just strike, move back, rinse, repeat until he's completely dead. In complete sense.
Alright, almost there.
Ooh.
Not too bad. That's fine, that's fine. We'll let it happen. We will allow it. And that's the burn. I love that for a final hit. That was funny.
Yeah, that's happened to me too many times on other bosses.
Alright,
anyway,
Shredder
we'll come up
time.
to Shredder. The Shredder on the right is always the real one, but he and the Doppelganger tend to make sure that you don't target the real one most of the time. Sometimes they'll swap up and switch roles.
Okay, so that's the fake, and that's fine. So I will have to be a little bit more mindful of the setup this time. Let's see if I can push him into that corner, though. Doesn't look like he wants to really play ball, so that's fine. We'll just make it work somehow. And that could do it. No. Okay, yeah, that's fine. All right, so the reason why a Shredder with his helmet on is not so fun to deal with is the mutagen beam attack. If the helmet goes off, they suddenly lose access to that move, though. So I will say this. Oh, that's a very good example of why you do not want to get hit by that. It's insta-kill. That's funny, though. We got a interesting, unique little shell shock out of it, so yeah, for the content.
So anyway, the good news is that with the fake no longer having the helmet on, it means the fake won't be able to perform the mutagen blast. And technically, when you do that to the real Shredder,
time's coming up. Time's coming up. And that's going to be time.
Time.
Nice.
Hey,
Well done, Tempest. Well done.
Thank you. All right, not too shabby. So, well, it wasn't necessarily a PB. I guess my current PB, which was at the Souls Community Marathon, I guess I forgot to commit to live split. So, in live split sense, that would be a PB, but my best time is 17 minutes and 40-something seconds. So, still a good run. I sub 20 is nothing to scoff at. It's good showcase overall, and hey, we did it for charity. We did it for True Colors United. I'm happy with this. All right, well,
good job. That was great.
yeah, thank you so much. I guess we'll do some shout-outs before we go. So, a shout-out to the TMNT RTA community. If you'd like to learn a TMNT run for yourself, feel free to join our server. The links can be found in just about any of those SRC leaderboards. And we do cover a wide variety of different Turtles games, even some of the newer ones like Shredder's Revenge or the home port of Wrath of the Mutants from the 2012 show. And yeah, there's a lot of solid runners within our community, like my friend Elrock, who was supposed to join us, but unfortunately could not. So shout-outs to him, of course, who gave Rotor and me the opportunity to commentate for his AGDQ run. It was such a pleasure, and then some,
Indeed.
truly. And, of course, thanks to Konami for making these games. If you'd like to try this for yourself, as Rotor mentioned, we have the Cowabunga collection available for all major platforms, plus a few features that you might not see in any other version of this game. Of course, if you happen to have been lucky, we also have a leaderboard for the Xbox 360 version separately, so let's get a quick little high score in. I will say, if the game will let me... Oh no, what was my key for that? Oh. I say P... W... And then, where's the one more P for Power Up with Pride? Alright, and shout out to Power Up with Pride for having me. Thank you so much for putting me on the schedule. It was a pleasure to showcase TMNT as well as be a part of the pre-show for yesterday's blind races. Folks, be sure to keep on supporting the charity. I want to see how much money we can make for this ever so wonderful event. Truly a wonderful community. And yeah, if you'd like to keep up with me, I'm TempestMask1000 here on YouTube, Twitch, and at It's Tempest Steve for Twitter, Blue Sky at TempestMask. And yeah, not much else to say about myself, so we'll throw it on back to them. And, well, till next time, ciao amici.
Hey, thank you so much for that, Tempest. That was such a good run. I've seen this run at a couple marathons before, and I always absolutely enjoy watching it. And it's such good commentary from both Tempest and Riderstone. So thank you so much for that. And also thank you everyone for joining in and hanging out still. Coming up next, we have Yakuza Kiwami 2. Majima Saga any percent, run by OG Happy D. That'll be coming up in the next few minutes, so stay patient for that.
Good luck, Happy!
Shall reach beyond these walls, for slowly but surely the light fades from our world, and as it does, the shadows shall loom ever longer until all succumbs to the darkness. Darkness that evokes terror.
Hey guys, sorry, LA gamers, and welcome back to the Cry. I wanted to introduce you people. If it's your first time here, because it's actually fine. Power of Pride is a speedrunning charity marathon founded in 2016, created by the LGBTQ+ speedrunning community with an emphasis on queer and ally. We're doing this not only to celebrate Pride Month, but also to raise awareness and funds for LGBTQ+ charities. This time around, we're supporting the incredible True Cause United, which implements innovative solutions to youth homelessness that focuses on the unique experiences of young queer people. I did some maths also. This is our 15th event. It's unfortunately only my first time here, but this is altogether, this is our 15th event, and we've raised $170,000 in this entire time for various charities focused on supporting the queer community. So that's really cool. And also just a reminder to keep the donations coming through. This is such a wonderful, wonderful charity that does some really important work. A reminder that we do also have an incentive coming up soon at the end of the Jazz Plant Grant, which is going to add a bonus round of the Wedding Quick minigame, which is 10 minutes, or not even extra 10 minutes to the entire marathon. Where Ozmo and the runner will be each up with a different rule set, and he has to do it with one player instead of using the two-player method, and he has to set the goal to 10 kills instead of 5. So that's going to be a really cool challenge, so we've got to try and get that. So far, we've got $55 out of the 300, I believe. So make sure when you donate to shoot towards an incentive, or we also have some big awards as well. And after the very next round, we have Yakuza Kiwami 2, Majima Saga any percent, run by OG Happy Dude. After that, we have Necrovision Lost Company, run by Astro Florida Girl. And then, of course, the Jazz Punk Grand. If you guys are curious about what's coming up in the rest of the marathon, because we have a lot more, you can do !schedule just to check out what's going on. And we're gonna be running this marathon so the entire weekend. We're doing 16 hours a day. And for the entire time, we, of course, are gonna be fundraising for TNT. So, thank you so much for joining us, and I'll be back with runs very, very soon. Hey, happy day, don't worry. I'm sure you're gonna be amazing. We're all reading for you. I'm also really excited to see a Yakuza run. Everything that I've seen from Yakuza as a series has just been completely bonkers. And I also enjoy seeing that sort of wildness of the games with, you know, the context. Any context that might have made it make sense, completely removed through speedruns. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm also really excited to see Monster the Horror Girl run Necrovision because I spoke to her a little bit in DMs and she said she really likes seeing people's reactions to the game. So that makes me very intrigued. Wow, that's so funny that you say that on me. Because we actually have Hollow Knight. I believe it's the finale for this event. Actually, Hollow Knight is the final run. And I believe that not only is that the final run, it's one hand any percent. And also I believe. Let me take a look. I believe we have an incentive for this? Yeah, we do. Sorry, give me one moment. Oh, if we hit $10,000 by the end of the marathon, the runner, let me get their name again, Sawayoshi, they're gonna do a one-handed Path of Pain, which is I'm so excited to see. If you're unfamiliar with Hollow Knight, Path of Pain is a really quite incredibly difficult parkour. I guess you call it, not parkour, platforming. My goodness. We've got a one-handed platforming run of that, so that's gonna be really interesting. That's with two hands. I'm honestly unsure of the mechanics of how you even play the game with one hand, let alone Path of Pain. Do you like Path and Pain? But yeah, so that's hopefully that is if we raise $10,000 by the end of the marathon. So that one's really exciting. I'm gonna mention it again. Also, the Jazz Punk incentive that's coming up. We're only $245 away from hitting that. So if everyone in chat right now donated $2, we'd smash that and actually add that with extra. So, just, feed the bullet, feed the bullet. Yeah, I'm very excited to see Passive playing. I actually have been playing Monopoly Night recently, so I'm very excited.